Health and safety, in particular home safe, is at the heart of everything we do at Viridor. As part of your induction onto Viridor sites, you'll have expected to be completing the Home Safe Contractor induction module. Please get in touch with your Viridor point of contact, who can point you in the right direction of where to complete this. Hello and welcome to the Dunbar ERF Contract Induction. Today we're going to go through the site rules and procedures that need to be followed throughout your time on site. If you have any questions, please direct these to your point of contact after completion of the induction. Time to meet the team. We've got Ian Priest, Plant Manager, Stuart Coyle, Operations Manager, Roman Pigalov, Engineering Manager, and myself, Ian O'Hara, EHS Manager. Stuart leads a team of 5 shift team leaders working a 24-hour cycle. This is Stephen Higginbottom, A shift, Alan Howie, B shift, James Dobie, C shift, Graham Purves, D shift, and John Collinson on E shift. Roman's engineering team is headed up by his 2 engineers, Kenny Sim, mechanical engineer, and Gary Donaldson, EC&I engineer. So what do we do here? In a nutshell, there's 4 main parts of how an ERF works. Part number 1 is waste delivery. Waste is weighed, received and prepared for combustion. Number 2, energy recovery. Waste is thermally treated at high temperatures with conversion of the heat energy to electrical energy. Number 3, flue gas treatment. Combustion gases are cleaned to ensure emissions are within stringent environmental limits. And number 4, further resource recovery. Metals are collected in IBA, incinerator bottom ash, and APCR, air pollution control residues, are used as construction products. A bit about the site. When you arrive on site, the first people you'll meet are the Weybridge staff and site security, bottom left hand of the picture. You'll then proceed to the contractor parking area, which is to the right as you follow through the Weybridge. Also we have visitor parking and the reception, which is on the left hand side next to the red arrow. Level 3 of the admin block is the permit office, where many of you will be going to collect your permit documents before starting work. Site rules. All personnel must wear personal protective equipment, PPE, when out on the site at Dunbar. The minimum requirement is the following: safety hard hat, safety boots with steel cap toes, eye protection, long sleeve tops, trousers, gloves, and a high-vis vest or jacket. Some areas on the site may require additional PPE, such as areas of high noise. These will be clearly signposted with additional PPE located outside of the areas. In addition to this, an FFP3 standard is the minimum requirement for a face mask if this is required as part of your risk assessment. When you arrive on site, you'll find 2 sign-in books. One is the fire log and one is the visitor/contractor sign-in. Please can you make sure you sign in both, as the fire log book will be grabbed in an emergency situation. You'll also find lanyards of different colours depending on your situation. Red is for contractors and yellow for visitors. The site speed limit is 10 mph. Please observe all safety signs and traffic signals. Mobile phones should not be used on plant except in an emergency. These should never be used while driving a vehicle. Photography is allowed, but is only at the express permission of the site management team or a relevant deputy. Viridor has a zero tolerance towards drugs and alcohol. Please be aware that random testing may be in operation during your time on site. If you fail to comply with this, you risk having a red card and a permanent ban from site. As would be expected, also forbidden on site is stealing, willful damage, any consumption of alcohol, bringing illegal substances onto site, and engaging in any activities that could jeopardise the safety of any person on site. Smoking is only permitted in the designated smoking area. This can be found in the west side of the building at the bottom of stair core 1. As you exit the admin building, turn right, follow the stairs down past the contractor cabins, where you'll find the designated smoking area. Anyone found smoking anywhere else on site, including e-cigarettes, risks a red card and a permanent ban from site. As previously mentioned, any failure to comply with any of the site rules may result in a yellow or red card being issued. There are various infringements that classify as both a yellow and red card. Please take a minute to read below so you fully understand what is expected of you. This is up to the full discretion of the Dunbar ERF management team. The Dunbar ERF control room is manned 24/7. The emergency number can be contacted for fire, first aid or spillage, or any other serious incident that someone needs to be contacted. The number is 01368 868 270. Please take some time to note down this number so you have it available. The control room can also be contacted on radio channel 1. Every working party should have a radio on them so they can be contacted quickly for cases of emergency. If you do discover a fire, please break the glass to sound the alarm and inform a member of Dunbar ERF staff immediately. This can be done on radio channel 1. On hearing the evacuation alarm, which is a continuous klaxon, please proceed to the muster point. The muster point is at the back of the Viridor car park next to the Dunbar ERF Visitor Centre. The fire alarm is tested every Friday at 2 p.m. Any alarm that goes off out with this time should be treated as a real event, and all members of the working party should proceed to the site muster point to be accounted for. This slide gives you a bird's eye view of the exact location of the muster point. Please make yourself and your team aware of this prior to starting work so you can get there quickly and efficiently in the case of an emergency. If you have any questions at all, please direct them to your point of contact or any member of Dunbar ERF staff. There is a trained first aider on every operations shift, and various members of the team who work day to day Monday to Friday are also trained in first aid. First aid kits can be found in all levels of the admin block and also in the first aid room, which is on the ground floor. We have 3 AEDs on site, automated external defibrillators. They can be found in the weighbridge, visitor centre and in the control room on level 4 of the admin block. Please contact a member of the Dunbar ERF staff immediately if you have any concerns regarding first aid and your general health and safety. Speaking of health and safety, this is the number one priority at Viridor. To encourage this, we offer contractors the chance to collect safety observation report cards. These can be filled out to report hazards and near misses as they're found on site. Please contact your point of contact to collect one of these, and these can be handed in through the safety observation box, which is located on level 2 of the admin building. Welfare facilities for contractors are located in the west yard next to the smoking shelter. This includes toilets, showers and rest areas where microwaves and kettles are provided for your own welfare. Drinking water is available at several locations around the site where you will see blue water coolers. Please ensure you put the correct waste in the correct bins. We have bins for both general waste and dry mix recycling. Viridor's work management procedure must be followed at all times when contractors are working on the site. This includes the raising of a work order card which indicates what job you're doing and where it's to be done. This will be followed by a point of work risk assessment which will be done by the nominated supervisor of each working party. Please speak to your Viridor point of contact for more information on this, as they will organise this for you in advance of the works being carried out. Most jobs on site will require a safety document. These include the 4 documents you'll see on the slide, which includes a permit for work, limited work certificate, payment for work with restoration of power, ROMP, and a sanction for test. Again, please speak with your Viridor point of contact for more information on this. You may have to do some additional training to become a competent person to be able to collect one of said safety documents. Safety documents cannot be issued without your risk assessment and method statement, RAMS. RAMS must be approved by Viridor a minimum of 72 hours in advance of planned work commencement. Viridor's senior authorised persons, SAPs, will issue safety documents to protect you from system-derived hazards. As mentioned before, you may require some additional training in order to be able to accept these as a competent person under Viridor's ERF safety rules. Here's a closer look at Viridor's point of work risk assessment powder. These can be collected from the permit office, which is on level 3 of the main admin building. These should be filled out before your safety document is issued and before work starts. Under our safety rules, these are completed by the nominated supervisor, who is in charge of setting the party to work. Nominated supervisor establishes general safety in the vicinity of the work and records this on the powder. This is then maintained by the competent person throughout the working period. Some work may have additional considerations such as hot works and confined space entry. No hot works or entry to confined spaces should progress without a selected person's report or hot works risk assessment. Hot works require a hot works risk assessment carried out by the selected person due to the fire risk associated and the additional hazards that may be introduced. Confined space entry will require an emergency rescue team and gas testing of the area, including many other control measures by a competent contractor. Working at height is one of Viridor's home safe life-saving rules. Working at height is prohibited on site unless compliant with the working at height regulations. The next few slides will go through some of the control measures to ensure we comply with these regs. The use of ladders is discouraged on site and should only be used for inspection or tasks of a very short nature. Each ladder should have a valid inspection tag and a pre-use visual inspection carried out by a competent person. Please ensure ladders are also correctly stored after use. The loader cage can be found in the 7.2 metre level of the boiler hall. Any access equipment required can be used and found from there. Please ensure you speak to your Viridor point of contact before collecting this and using it. Scaffolding is erected, maintained and inspected in accordance with current legislation. Each scaffold on site should have a valid inspection tag of no more than 7 days. Please ensure you carry out a thorough visual inspection of the scaffold before use. If you find a scaffold on site that does not have a 7-day inspection, please contact your Viridor point of contact immediately so this can be rectified and the tag can be removed so the scaffold is not used by anyone else until the repair or inspection can be carried out. Every chemical or substance brought onto site must comply with the Control of Substances Hazardous to Health regulations, COSH. Every material must have a material safety data sheet and a separate COSH risk assessment. Every chemical that Viridor has on site has this, so if you're using any of these, please don't hesitate to ask your Viridor point of contact to see a copy of these documents. If you're bringing your own chemicals onto site, please make sure you bring these with you as they will be requested by your point of contact. As part of Viridor's PPC permit issued by the Scottish Environmental Protection Agency, disposal of liquid waste and spills into the drainage system is not permitted under any circumstances. Please report all spillages to any member of the Dunbar ERF staff immediately via the radio. There are various spill kits around site and these can be found at several locations. Please ask your Viridor point of contact to your nearest location and ensure you know where this is prior to work commencing if your job might have the chance of having a spillage. Due to the operation of the site, there may be some areas that are high in noise. Any areas that have noise above 85 decibels is a mandatory hearing protection zone, and any areas with a noise level above 80 decibels is an advisory hearing protection zone. Signage and your line manager will advise you of this, and hearing protection is available via stores or via the various dispensers around the site. The mandatory hearing protection areas are the following: turbine hall, both upper and lower levels, fan room, feed water pump room, hydraulic packs at 7.2 metre level, and a line 1 vibrating table motor on the ground floor. Gas cylinders must be stored upright and in an adequately ventilated area away from sources of ignition. You are responsible for any gas cylinders that your contractors bring to site. Flashback arresters and regulators must be fitted with valve keys available. All cylinders must only be moved and stored using a gas cylinder trolley to which they are securely fastened or strapped. Acetylene is not allowed on site under any circumstances. Please be aware that this is an operational site and there's mobile plant constantly in use. Some of the higher risk areas can be seen on the slide, including the West Yard, where there is an exchange of metal skips and consumable deliveries, the east side of the building, where the tip and all exit and entrance is, and also on the north side, where consumable deliveries are had. Please look after yourself and your teams at all times when on site at Dunbar. Please be aware that there are several ATEX zones across the Dunbar ERF site where a specific risk assessment must be carried out prior to progression work. These include part of the cyclone room, the hydrogen bottle cages in the north side of the building, the interior of the pack silo, and the interior of the ammonia silo to the northwest of the site. Please speak to your Viridor point of contact if you have any concerns around the ZEER and ATEX zones. We are proud of our site at Dunbar and like to keep it as clean and tidy as possible. To help with this, please keep your point of work clean and tidy, keep walkways clear, don't rely on others to tidy up after you, and put all litter in the bins provided. It is a requirement that waste is taken off site by contractors on completion of work and not left to be picked up by Dunbar staff. As mentioned previously, it is a requirement that all working parties have at least one working radio. Radios can be signed out from the control room on level 4 of the admin block. The radio channels are the following: Channel 1 for Viridor operations / emergencies, Channel 2 for Viridor engineering and maintenance, Channel 3 for contractors, this is mainly used during outage periods, so on a regular day-to-day basis you may want to stay on channel 1 as you may have to have regular contact with the control room. Channel 4 is for the weighbridge and for waste operations. All contractors must liaise with their site contact when expecting deliveries on site. All goods must be signed for by the contractor site supervisor, as Viridor will not take any responsibility for your deliveries. Any goods that are provided and paid for by Viridor must be booked out using a stock requisition form, which will be provided for this purpose. At the end of your work, all equipment, tools, spare stock must be managed by the contractor, which must include the collection of any plant or equipment after the contractor leaves site. Viridor is committed to making a positive contribution towards the UK's climate change targets by delivering sustainable solutions to all our customers. Our focus is on building a world where nothing goes to waste, and we use the ISO 50001 standard for our energy management system. How can you help with this? You can switch off lights and computers when they're not needed, keep electrical equipment well maintained to increase its efficiency, replace fluorescents with LEDs where possible, do not leave engines idling, and remember the waste hierarchy. Try and move up that as much as you possibly can. If you have any questions on energy management, the site energy champion is Jamie Ross, who's an electrical technician, and the site energy board is located on the ground floor, which is full of various other information regards Dunbar ERF's energy management system. Leptospirosis, or Wales disease, is a serious and sometimes fatal infection transmitted to humans by contact with urine from infected rats. Symptoms start with a flu-like illness and persistent and severe headaches, can then lead to vomiting, muscle pains, and ultimately jaundice, meningitis, and kidney failure. Please wear protective clothing, i.e. gloves at all times when working on site, and wash your hands after working and always before eating, drinking or smoking. Viridor has a pest control contact to help control any rats that may get to site through waste deliveries. Cybersecurity is important to us here at Viridor, and any portable devices such as hard drives, USB sticks, laptops or tablet computers must be declared on arrival to site and approved by the EC&I engineer. It is absolutely prohibited to connect any operational network or device without prior consent from the site EC&I engineer, which includes electronic devices such as e-cigarettes. Before you connect the device to the site network, all wireless functions should be disabled in the device. Connecting to both a site network and an external network, personal hotspot, is strictly prohibited. If you observe any suspicious activities related to cybersecurity, please challenge and report it immediately to your line manager or site contact. Please be aware that the CCTV on site which operates 24/7. This is used for both safety and security purposes. Anyone caught on CCTV doing any unsafe behaviour or breaking any of the rules put out in this induction will be subject to discipline and possibly a yellow or red card and even a permanent ban from site. Viridor actively promotes safe driving on site and off to ensure that everyone gets home safe. Please take extra care and attention when leaving site and approaching the junction onto the A1. This is particularly dangerous, and if you don't follow the highway code, it could result in an accident. If you have any concerns, please contact the Viridor member of staff or your site contact. Thank you very much for your attention during this induction, and I hope you have a safe and productive time on site at Dunbar. As mentioned, if you do have any questions at all, please contact your site contact in the first instance, or, failing that, a member of the Dunbar ERF management team will always be happy to help.